question that I have, and that is in the news recently, and I'll maybe direct this one at Carl. There's been a lot of talk about the Public Charge Act. I know that we had spoken about that many times on this panel, and it seems to be coming up again. Can you speak a little bit about these latest developments and the implications?
Yes. So, I mean, the Trump administration has reinterpreted a very, very long-standing portion of the immigration law that says if somebody's likely to become a public charge, in other words, on welfare programs in the United States, they're not admissible to the U.S. They won't give them green cards. And I think, and it's just my interpretation, that he would like to stop immigration of poor people to the U.S., even though the Statue of Liberty says, give me your tired, give me your poor. I guess they're going to take that off the Statue of Liberty. He hasn't told me yet. But people who bring their parents who are elderly to the United States, that's probably going to stop a lot of that and so on. Now, they introduced this, and it was supposed to become effective quite a few months ago, and then it was sued in court, and there was an injunction, so they couldn't enforce it. But in the last week, it's been, again, like something I've never seen before. So there's a form that they introduced, a long form called an I-944 form, where you have to kind of tell about your whole life, and then the person either at the embassy or if you're applying for benefits in the U.S., the immigration officer has discretion to say, I think you're likely to become a federal charge, no green card, okay? And there was an injunction that blocked that, but the government appealed that. And the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, I think just a couple of days ago, they're in New York and New Jersey and so on. And they said now the injunction will only apply to people in New York, New Jersey, and one other state. So the rest of the United States, in the last 48 hours, we've had to change everything. And everybody that we're applying for green cards for has to submit the I-944, and I expect a lot of people will be denied green cards. On the positive side, I think it's mostly going to affect people in family-based categories and in the immigration lottery. I really don't expect that the government's going to discretionarily decide that people that are immigrating through their jobs are going to go on welfare, because it doesn't make sense. If your employer is paying you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, and that's part of the deal, you're going to be working. You're not going to be on welfare. So it is a very negative thing, but I don't think it's going to severely impact or really impact at all the nurse cases.
Okay. All right. And if anyone has any additional questions on the Public Charge Act, I would encourage you just to look at all of our social medias, but Kinetics USA specifically has a YouTube channel. So please feel free to subscribe to that. I know that Chris, Carl, and Jacob also have their own channels. But as you can see, these situations are very fluid. We definitely living in unprecedented times. So it's really important as somebody immigrating to the US to keep yourself educated and abreast of what's happening. And that's really the purpose of these panel discussions, is to share information and make sure everybody has the up-to-date inside scoop